I'm from Mind Moving, and the reason why I'm here tonight is because I'm in search of people that are making breakthroughs in our society. So I'm really looking forward to hear Vincent's journey and his innovation and his involvement as an entrepreneur.
Right, and so today for our special entrepreneurs guest for today is somebody that I met 4 years ago. We met when I mentored him on SABC One Making Moves, and that time he was already doing very well. He's a guy from Khayelitsha. He started a business there. He's a DJ. He's played, opened up for people like Skrillex. I was super excited to hear that, and he was already doing over $1 million in revenue. And now his business has grown so much. So he's the founder of Ikapalive, Blank Kanvas, and ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a warm, loud applause. Hey. Good. What? How are you doing?
What an intro.
Thanks. So this is Vincent Manzini. Welcome, Vincent. Welcome to Startup Grind.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Hi guys. Happy New Year. To break the ice.
Yeah. Welcome. And Startup Grind, we like to hear amazing stories of amazing people like you. And when I was writing your profile, I was getting, like when I received the information that you sent, it was a lot. This man is multi-talented. So he sent me stuff, and I was like, where is the other stuff that I know about you? So he's like, oh, okay, that's another profile. Okay, send that too. So he is an entrepreneur, but he set up different businesses. And then also, he has an entertainment business, a super successful DJ. There's some songs that he did on YouTube as well, I know that. But before we do all that, we get into that, tell us, where were you born, Vincent?
The disclaimer, he called on the 26th. Who calls the 26th of December, guys? I'm like, I put the pocket down and I let it go. Second time, like, hey, this guy really needs to speak to me, so I picked up. I'm like, hello. Like, yo, Vincent, how are you, brother? How was Christmas? I'm like, okay, cool, maybe he forgot to call me yesterday. You know what? I need you to be my speaker. Speaker. That's 26. DJ maybe? Maybe you want to say like this. Yeah, cool. And invited me and I accepted. Was reluctant in the beginning, but I felt, it's important for me to come in and have a conversation. Not so that I know everything more than anyone, but there's a story that I can share. There's a journey that I embarked on, and the lessons and insights in that journey. So that's why I accepted.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. So I know that time you were probably recovering from a hangover. I was probably recovering from a hangover. I didn't think like, oh, why is it calling me now?
Yeah.
And it's a month later.
Yeah, it's a month later.
Yeah. Great. So, background.
Okay, cool. Can I? Because I can't.
But then you're gonna forget about me.
I'll come back to you.
Forget about me.
My name is Vincent. I'm Fistaz Manzini. I'm a boy who grew up in Khayelitsha. Probably one of the biggest townships in South Africa. Arguably the second or third.
Okay.
I grew up like any other kid, My father left when I was 11. I was raised by a single parent, my sister and I. And I had big dreams, I think the difference between me and any other boy or girl who came from Luciano, which is township, is that I've always been a big dreamer. I've always wanted the world. From a very young age, I had a feeling inside me that I can be more, I can achieve more, so I took that with me and I ran with it. I think at 11, obviously, life took a turn where we were really, really struggling and suffering at home, and I made a decision that I had to do and make something happen. And I think at 8, 13 or 14, I then went and seeked a job. I was a taxi marshal in Wynberg. So I used to close taxis and wash taxis. I'm the one, the 3 Deloka. I was that. So yeah, for 4 years, I was that guy. I was called different names. I met interesting characters. But that's where my love for people and love for business, and love for things took shape.
Yeah.
And fast forward matters, those experiences, I'm a son of those experiences.
Yeah. So you can do Bielbo?
I can do Bielbo? That's what I did. I had to hustle. I call myself a hustler. I always say hustle until something happens.
Yeah.
From a very young age, I knew that I had to pick myself up.
That was like out of necessity. You need.
It was because remember, life took a turn.
Yeah.
And when life took a turn, I was in Seapoint High, and I stayed in Khayelitsha. And as a 13-year-old, I had to take a train at 5:30 to be in town at 7:40, and then or even 7:20, and to walk every day to Seapoint and back, raining or not. And at times, if my mother's unemployed and I had to at least buy my ticket or a train fare to get to school and back. So from a very young age, I had to make a plan. In anything that I've achieved and been through in life, I had to work for it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that I went through that because it has shaped and informed the resilience that I have and the person that I am today. Because of that journey, that's why even when I fail, I can stand up once again and dust myself up.
Yeah. That's great, really. And in a way, I can relate to that. Like I also grew up in the township in Zambia, one of the biggest. You got Chibolia, like it's rough. And I also walked to school, and then I saw the market, and you go to the market first before you go to school. Then afterwards, you go and you get water from the neighbors. You watch TV at the neighbors. Did you also go and watch TV at the neighbors? Or you had your own?
Funny thing in the township, I think a lot of people will relate to it. Those who understand and who can relate or they can attest. In the township, there's usually that one house that had a TV. One house, not many houses. Not the father's a teacher or police, but it's one house. So you know what happened? They used to charge us money to go watch. This thing, the cinemas and stuff. They've been doing those things, the cinemas and townships. Cinemas, before Stereo Kinokos and stuff, we've been at it. So we've been very, very entrepreneurial. So from very young age, you used to have to kind of hustle money. And go watch. So from a very young age.
So you paid money for me. I needed to water the flowers first, then afterwards you allowed me.
In Cape Town, lucky enough, in hindsight, now we don't have water to water the flowers. So we don't know we're gonna waste.
And then in which high school did you go to?
I went to Seapoint High.
Okay, so it was
right down
Seapoint High. And then primary, it was the same school?
No, primary we went to Good Hope Seminary Junior School in Hook. I've always had to wake up.
Seminary?
Yeah, seminary junior school.
Okay.
I've always
the seminary.
Really? I've always had to leave home at 5:30 at least.
Yeah.
From 6 years old.
Wow.
And take the train and walk to school.
That's amazing, man. And then tell us now the journey between now you finishing your matric and went to Raymond Ackerman, but before maybe Raymond Ackerman Academy.
Yeah, the journey. What an interesting journey. So I'm close, alright. So obviously there's a rite of passage, initiation, and I've always had older friends. I've always had older friends because obviously they've experienced and they've gone through things. And I recommend even nowadays, if you're a parent in a township setting, always encourage your kids to have mentors and older people. Because there's so many things happening. So many moving parts and so many social ills within our context. So they actually went to initiation school before me, and I felt the pressure, man. I was like, I want to be a man, I want to be a man. And my mom was like, yo, I won't afford both. I won't pay for registration and take you to the mountain. So choose. I was like, education can wait. I'm sorry, guys. I was like, education, I'll take myself to school. Why not take me to the mountain? So post high school, that's what I did. I went, came back, I was like, now I'm back and I'm a man, and what do I do now? I said, I'll take myself to school. And then I just typed the CV, no job experience, nothing, because you can't really write taxi marshal in the CV. Really. They don't really recognize it. Really. but I had maths. You know, the taxi chain, man.
Yes,
You know,
it's changed.
counted quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, my math skills were weak. But 2 of us were trying.
I have to tell you that I actually enjoyed riding taxis in Cape Town because first when
It's an
we moved
experience.
here,
It's an experience.
when we moved here like 11 years ago, it was riding
It's an experience.
in Joburg. But in Joburg, if you sit in front, I didn't know that in front you are the conductor.
Yeah.
You have to give everybody change and
No, even here and there. No, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Taxis around this side of the world, obviously you've got systems.
Uh-huh.
In the township,
yeah.
you are everything. Sometimes you're the driver because he's drunk. You know, but yeah. So after matric, then I obviously found a job selling insurances. You know, I was one of those guys who annoyed the hell out of people that got a number from Vodacom or MTN. And you know that they didn't give out a number, but you know, yeah. So I sold insurance, and I think the love for sales grew then. You know, your phone is slammed down. You have to make about 100 calls a day, cold calling. From there onwards, then I found myself a Vodacom.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I found myself a Vodacom. I grew within Vodacom. I bumped into Ellen North Craig at a roadshow that he had, and Ellen North Craig really made me permanent on the spot at Vodacom.
Wow.
I was so talkative as a 19-year-old. Yeah, like, Ellen, you know, I can grow this company. So, you know, looking at but he listened, you know, he listened. I think that's why he's so successful, because he listened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for me, that's a lesson that I've learned. Sometimes listen.
Yeah.
Listen without judging, listen with the ability to understand, and listen to understand someone else's context.
Yeah.
So for me, in that one interaction with Eleanor Craig, he made everyone who was a flexi worker permanent by one conversation that we had.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got promoted and I grew in the company. But at age 21, I was like, I want to change the world. Vodacom, sharp. They offered an exit interview, they upped my salary from literally being a taxi conductor at 14. At the age 21, I was earning over 25, 28, 30,000 rand.
Wow. Wow.
And I made bad decisions because I was not used to it. I was not used to money. You know, I was not used to money. My business partner, funny enough, is running late, was not here. He'll know. I used to drive around in their township, and I was the only 19, 18-year-olds driving the latest car, and they used to play cricket, and I used to hoot him. They move the crates. I used to be that guy, because I didn't know how to behave. I didn't know how to spend this money. I didn't, you know. So I made bad calls, but I'm fortunate that I made those calls young. And those calls are part of my journey, you know. And I could dust myself up and make the right calls, which I believe I am trying now.
Yeah, I also believe that like sales is a critical part.
So I stop me and talk a lot. So if I bore you, just, hey, chief, you're boring.
Yeah, boring.
Yeah, boring. Cool, yeah.
No, talking about part of this that I hear you saying you were calling and getting rejected. Sales is a critical part of growing any business.
Any business.
Because like if you can take a no, and a lot of people are saying, oh, look, nobody wants, I've got a great product, but because I've got a great product, people should just come to it and should just, but not knowing that you need to sell, ask for the sell and call again. How many people actually told that, call me back tomorrow because I'm busy now, and they just never call back because they think that's super rejection. How did what would you say about the importance of sales and how it helped you in your business, in your growth?
You can have the greatest product, you know, the greatest product ever. And we've seen so many great innovations which never took off. Not because they're not great, you know, because the drivers were not the right drivers, you know, and the story behind those innovations and the need for those products were not the right needs, you know, and also those that got rejected gave up, you know. So it's important, I think, in any space, in any business, you know. I think each and every day we're selling ourselves, you know. We are walking, talking business cards. We get rejected each and every day, you know. I think it's important to find the lesson in those encounters, which are not favorable, because in any situation, any rejection, there's usually a lesson.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the lesson, probably understanding why, was I not given that opportunity over that? What's in my control? What can I change? What can I upskill myself in? So it gives an opportunity to go back, backtrack, reflect, reassess, refine, and go back to market again, I suppose.
Yeah.
And sell again. You can't avoid that.
Yeah. Great. And tell us now about Ikapalive. What are the steps to setting up Ikapalive? You had a few other businesses, or was this your first registered?
No, it's funny. It was not like I've been if you can go to Sipsy or Cypher, I'm sure they know me by name by now. When I walk in, they're like, hey, when you still have that company that you registered in 19 whatever, So I think in 2005-6, one of my best friends is still close now. He's a radio DJ now, quite a big shot DJ. He's on SABC radio. He's in the Eastern Cape now.
Yeah.
We're passionate about the industry, about eventing, about music, about DJing. But the only problem with that, he felt, that we were not organized. We were so passionate, driven, all of these wonderful things, but we're not organized. So he then said, look, let's go register the company.
Yeah.
We need to organize ourselves. And also take us seriously, we need to package ourselves in a manner that's according. So he then went ahead, funny enough, because I was stalling. Or I was at work at Vodacom then, but he registered a company called Grand Mind Entertainment, but we're business partners, but it was Mind. So I was quite upset because no plural, I thought we were partners. But then he went. So we started the company, vision but no plan really. Like there's a cap. We saw a cap. Grand Mind, your mind, and my mind. We're taking over the world, So we started this company and it flopped, But however, there were certain positive outcomes that came out of it. I think that's when we focused on the DJ aspect of it. That's when I was named Sir Vincent, not the Sir Juice. And that's when then the love for the entrepreneurship journey grew. I went back, we kind of understood why we failed or why it didn't work. And then that went on to us forming Ikapalive. Subsequent to that, a friend of mine growing up, his name is Luciano. We grew up in Khayelitsha together. He was doing well now in his own right. I was in my own right, doing well to a degree. As a DJ, we felt that everyone is focusing on Joburg. The need, why we started the company was from a need. We felt that we're being marginalized. We felt that everyone is focusing on Joburg. The channels are there, everything is there. The popular culture is there. They have a voice. So I think why we created a company called Ikapalive. It's Kapa, Cape Town alive, with possibility, with potential, and a lot of other exciting things. We felt that there's a lot happening here, but no one is telling the stories which are happening in Cape Town, particularly in the urban and peri-urban space, the township and so forth. But we felt, let's create a platform where we can showcase the other Vincents, the other Loisos, the other Wendy's, the other Trevors and so forth, which don't have a voice. So we started an online magazine, great online magazine. It took all of our monies, all of our savings and Vodacom, everything, great. We even got retweeted by DJ Freshies. I remember it was beginning of Twitter. Trending, agencies were calling us left, right, and center to give us freebies and no money. Guys, please post about our yogurt. It's called, so we had yogurts and deodorants and we're like, hey chief, this. Now it's either you open a sponsor shop and write more articles and sell, So we're like, hey, you open a sponsor shop or you close shop. So honestly, there are two options, We have a lot of options. Chief, I know a cousin that can, look after the sponsor shop when let's write more articles so we can have more products and Unilever's gonna give us stock. So you have to have a plan, Chief. You can't look at things In one way, there's a lot of ways of looking at things. So my business partner was like, hey, this brother shop ideas, they're not gonna pay off, chief. You know, my business partner, he's the quite more assertive, more aggressive. Believe it or not, he's the most outspoken. You know, more quite navigator, positioner. Can I use the taxi? Yeah, he's the Obama. Yeah. So, funny enough, some of my business partners are here from Europe. I'll chat about that later. So they know they can attest to that. So we decided, okay, cool. How about let's create a company, but within this company, let's create properties and create events which people will be able to interact with these platforms. You know, and also let's create these platforms and obviously render certain elements of what an agency would render, or what everyone else would outsource from an agency. So there's a social media element, there's a production element, there's so much. So an event gives you an opportunity to flex the capability. Because two young boys from Khayelitsha walking into a MTN and saying, I want X amount, they'll tell you to please turn around and walk back. You know? Because honestly, the systems are not there, people don't trust you, there's no credibility. And also, our past history can't shy away from it. You know, people are very disadvantaged. We were very disadvantaged as well. Obviously, now we are working together in finding ways of bridging the divide. But there's a huge divide that exists. We can't shy away from it. But we need to come with those solutions as well, as a collective. You know, that's why we're sitting here and having a dialogue. It's not your responsibility or mine. It's our responsibility. You know. So we then created these events. One, our claim to fame really was ICAS experience. You know, some guys know ICAS experience, some don't. It was really an event that was set up in the township that wanted to create an ecosystem for the township, because we felt that a lot of people move out of the township to go buy products and services outside of the township where these services exist. You know, it was important for us to first support each other in order to get supported by people who live outside of our township. You know, for us to say there's a stamp of approval and we vetted the quality of these products, you know. So we started the ICAS experience, just a market, our own version of old biscuit meal. Just vibier, just nicer, just more packed. So more vendors, more everything. So we started that. So obviously we started now dabbling in understanding the whole drug process, how to comply, you know, sponsorships, you know, the marketing speak, you know, the social media spend, the production element of things. So it became an agency, you know, this agency, the event grew, and we're still on. It's like the biggest township market in the country. In our market, we've done across the country. We've been at it for the past 7 years, and the average attendance at each of our markets is over 2,500 people a day. You know, and we've helped unearth talent. We've obviously helped vendors become more profitable and much more organized. So that ICAS experience was one of the platforms which we created at Ikapalive. Then obviously it mushroomed into other things. And then obviously now, I think, going back to the power of networking and stuff, I'll backtrack a bit now. It was 2 or 3 years ago. One of my business partners growing up or in this journey was Luvuyo Khani, Lonabokhani. Some of you may know him. They're the founders of Sidulo Lucha Technologies. Funny enough, when they launched, I was one of the guys coming with strategy, go-to-market strategy, and also filling up all their questionnaires when they entered business competitions. They're like, hey, come with the Englishman, come. You know, and they went on to become the biggest IT school in the South African landscape in the townships. They're the biggest now. They employ over 200 people. And I was glad to be part of that growth. And that story. And then when we started that, that's my train of thought now.
Okay, while you're trying to get your train of thought, I'll ask you a question. Why haven't you moved to Joburg now?
Okay, I'll come to that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Because a lot of black people in South Africa, in Cape Town, complain that Cape Town, Western Cape is not friendly to black people. But then again, they're successful black people. Just when you get successful, you move to Joburg. You get your degrees from UCT, you move to Joburg. No, so in your case, why haven't you moved? Or do you see things differently? What's your take?
I think the story long story that I'm trying to tell, get to that. Play it back. Eventually, at some point or another, I'll pass via Joburg. So as I was saying, I felt with these interactions and strategic partnerships and relationships and mentorship that I had in working in Silulu, it informed the potential that we have as individuals, the potential that we had as a company, and the potential that Cape Town has. I felt as a person individually, going to Joburg is like bringing sand to the beach. I felt there's so much opportunity and a gap in Cape Town in order for us to tell our own stories, in order to position our brands, in order for us to help people access the market, which we're all trying to access, and to try and communicate to the market in effective ways, So I felt going to Joburg, there are a lot of other Vincents, I didn't understand the context better. I didn't understand the landscape and environment better. As I keep on saying to people that because this township was Joburg, it's not the same as any other townships. Townships are similar but not the same. We black, but they always say 50 shades of black. He's black, he's coconut black, township black, but he's black, so there's not one way or one approach. So I felt, look, I'm seeing a gap here, and my business partner agreed. We said, look, Joburg will frequent, Joburg will be strategically aligned to other stakeholders there, and then we'll expand and probably have presence in Joburg, which we have, we frequent Joburg a lot, but we felt that there's a lot of change in Cape Town, I think obviously the divide is very big in Cape Town than anywhere else in South Africa, and because it's our responsibility, as I said, collectively, to change it. So that's why Joburg, really, I love it, but I'm more passionate about repositioning and rewriting Cape Town's legacy.
Fantastic. Wow.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Tell us about Blank Canvas, and we're going to start taking questions.
I remember,
story. Yeah, we're going to start taking questions, so you can prepare your questions, but the conversation will continue. Tell us about Blank Canvas.
My story, thank you for reminding me. So, going back to the path of networking and positioning yourself, I got a call. I remember it was 2 years ago, 11 p.m. Luciano is like, Vincent, I was about to call him, he likes me with a smile. Like, I was about to call you, I need you tomorrow morning. Can you be at our offices at 6 a.m.? 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Okay, cool, what's up? Like, we've started this thing called Constantia meets Khayelitsha, a business networking session. So I felt Constantia, Khayelitsha. I'm like, who's driving to whom?
You're like, hey, petrol is expensive. I'm like, hey, chief. And Constantia was thinking drive to Khayelitsha. When the police station, they call us to come pick them up. Guys, petrol is real, eh? My love, guys. Township is very hard, eh?
So like, okay, cool, they're driving through to us. Okay, cool, if they're driving it, I'm coming, you know?
Yeah.
I drove to the Siglo head office, and there were probably 10 of us, you know? 5 guys from Constantia, and 5 guys from Khayelitsha, you know? And then they said, look, we felt that it's important to have conversations, meaningful ones at it, you know? It's important that we speak about the uncomfortable divide and truths and, you know, and potential that lies there, you know? We've been relying so much on insights and research companies, but there's no connection, meaningful connection with people, you know? So they said, okay, cool. We felt is Constantia. Let's drive to Khayelitsha. You know, let's drive to Khayelitsha. Let's honor a breakfast meeting the way it should be honored. You know, let's come. Let's prepare whatever you have to prepare. Let's come and chat. No expectation. So I was like, okay, they are from Constantia. So what's possible? I am not gonna wake up at 6 for nothing. Time is money, too.
Yeah.
And we spoke, you know, and the beautiful thing about it was people who were committed to the process, funny enough, and who were willing to engage, you know. Okay, cool. Funny enough, my business partner working at the back. I don't put him on.
Yeah.
So we're willing enough to engage. So they came in, and we started talking about possibilities and collaboration. And from that conversation, the founder of now who's my business partner of Hero Strategic Marketing said, let's pick up this conversation. Let's see what we can do together. And 2 years down the line, we're business partners, and my partners are sitting right there.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon, Andy, and Rob. You know.
I mean,
yeah, he made it on. So from that, we started an agency together.
Yeah.
You know, or built an existing agency. We started something new called Black Kanvas, which we felt it was important. You know, it was important where brands were part of a meaningful solution to everything that we're dealing with as a country, and brands were not only just about selling, but brands understood the importance of connecting with the target market. So, you know, so our process, we use something called the ISI approach.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't just arrive at a solution. You know, we're dealing with people. It's important that we gather practical insights. So in order to come with a solution which will best be relevant to that context, to that business challenge opportunity, you know, and obviously owning the whole value chain right up into implementation, you know. So we believe in that loop of not just coming up with solutions. Let's talk, let's engage, let's go and be part of the mess, you know. I think that's what sets us apart as Blank Canvas, as the ISI Hero Group as well.
Yeah.
Is to say that when we're facing business problems, challenges, we hold the client by the hand and say meaningfully, what does the consumer want? Are we doing the best? Are we asking the right questions? You know, are we creating the right impact? And how sustainable are our solutions? And I believe you can't derive solutions without having those practical, you know, interactions and those insights. You know, so we're part of a very, very dynamic group of companies which have been doing amazing stuff. And I think one of the passionate things that we love so much and that holds us together as a group, it's not only, we're not really, you know, just about the money, you know, we're about creating meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
But
the money is good. Right?
The money is good, you know, like, but for us, we want to make sure that we create and we leave a legacy, you know. It's not about today, it's about long term. And I think that's why my business partner and I felt that opportunity was the perfect fit. We saw the day when the founder went to Khayelitsha, you know, and when the founder reached out to young black boys from Khayelitsha and said, this is who I want to partner with, this is how I want to live my legacy. That's when we said these are the right partners for us. That's why Blank Canvas is and will be the biggest agency that really deals with people, because we're passionate about people more than products.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So we're going to take questions from the audience. Any questions ready?
Okay.
You can.
I won't buy advice. Like you can, I'm a DJ too.
So, did you? I've got 2 questions. So, from the partnership, I know that as entrepreneurs, there are a lot of entrepreneurs working alone, and then also as entrepreneurs, there is this struggle, right? But then because you're struggling, you almost have to put up a front and tell everybody you're doing better than you really are. Yeah, and just like, things are great, and then almost like if you ask for help or if you partner, it looks like you are not doing as great as you look or supposed to. With your partnership, what did it bring, and what would you have been the same size without it? Or?
Funny enough, it brought a lot. It brought a lot of value in our partnership. You know, I think what holds us accountable to the vision my business partner has is a passion for people. You know, the passion for the township and the passion of making sure that we create lasting and meaningful relationships. And I think partnering with them has given us a bit more structure. Partnering with them has given us better business processes and systems, you know, because one thing having all this passion, but if you don't have the right fundamentals and the right structure, you know, and the right co-sign in music, you're just another guy with potential. You know, so the value that we've extracted most from there is avoiding their failures and the mistakes and making our own, really, you know, and making less of mistakes than they have. So that mentorship, you know, a relationship has worked very well. I don't think we were eventually obviously going to be what we're destined to be, no doubt. But we are grateful that we were also willing to have such a partnership, because it's a two-way relationship, you know. They open up, we also open up. You know, it needs both of you guys. In order for any partnership to work, it needs both of you guys to be willing to be vulnerable, you know, to each other. Because there are things that we bring to the partnership which they need, and they can extract value of, you know, so forth. That's why it's still working. That's why most partnerships still work. We're willing to say, we don't know here.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
So, next question here.
One
we can use the microphone so that we can hear.
There's a question at the back. Take that one first, and then.
Hi, Roman. It's great. You know, it's been quite a pleasure listening to your journey, and having been in the front row of your life for the past couple of years, I've seen your growth, and it's quite pleasant. I just want to know, how do you find balance between yourself as a DJ, yourself as a business partner, Black Kanvas, and Ikapalive? How do you strike the balance, and what makes it work?
What a question. First of all, thank you, man. It really was when I was working in, it's like, Vince, I saw your Facebook post, and I told myself that I won't miss it. And most speaking engagements which I'm booked for, I'm invited at, I always see your face. And for me, that means a lot. You know, that means a lot. You make the time, you always make the time, meaning that there's something that we're doing right, in all of us, you know. A balance is something that we strive for, you know. It's something that we constantly work at it, you know, constantly strive to achieve. It's not easy. I think the most important thing, I think I'll speak for myself and probably so my business partner, because also a DJ, we're always passionate about things we love. You know, and we always dabble in things we understand and we're passionate about. So in as much as it gets trickier at times, we don't really separate the two, you know, because we use certain disciplines in the other industry which are derived from the other one as well, you know. For instance, the same business processes and systems help the DJ band become the DJ band and grow from there, you know. If you treat it as a spaza shop, Lord always tell you it will pay like a spaza shop. You know, and so for us to be able to standing and traveling in other territories around the world and still DJing 10, 11 years later, without the business acumen and lessons, I don't think we would have sustained that. And order as a business as well, We are brands, we are walking billboards as well. We are the gateway to the market as well. We are the window. We are who you're trying to talk to. So that gives us an edge as an agency because we understand the consumer and we understand which language and what tone in order to best communicate with that and what mediums to use because you're also a medium. So that balance works that way. I hope I answered.
Great, thank you. Can we, next question here.
You actually stole my question because I was going to ask how do you handle being spread so thin, but just practically speaking, so to drop it down a level of detail, what do you do? How do you split your day? How powerful? How does it work?
It's crazy.
You've actually got 3 roles.
Yeah, a couple of roles as well. Like for instance, 2007, like my sister died in a car accident, and I was the only sibling, so only my mother, and I am with my nephew. She left behind a son, and I've got a beautiful 2-year-old. So I've got these businesses, and I'm a DJ, so I'm stretched, you know. But now the systems and the partnerships which I have around me, they allow me that, you know. My business partner, I keep on referring to him, and my business partners, if I can't, we trust in that enough, we trust each other that much, that if I can't take care of that, it's taken care of. We're bad for each other. And it's important to have a team. You know, you have a team that you trust, a team that you know that you're bad for you. And to also understand if you can't communicate. I think in any relationship, communication is important. In business, in a personal relationship, in a personal space, communication is key. So that lesson, I think that's what makes this work. Because I'm able to open myself up, I'm able to be vulnerable, I'm happy to own up when I make mistakes, I'm happy to communicate when I can't. So that really keeps me going. Right. And I'm realistic what I can achieve and how, and then obviously I figure that out later as we've been schooled earlier on. Yeah, cool. I hope I answered.
Great, thank you very much. Please continue tweeting.
Oh, there's a question.
There is going to be a prize for the best tweet. So the hashtag is #CPT, and you can tag us Startup Grind CPT. Thank you. There's a question there.
The 2-1.
Vincent. Hello.
Cool, man. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. Question: in your early days, when you started looking at mentors and seeing which mentor to actually take further, what did you just explore your thoughts? Did you find mentors that clicked with you as a person, or that a mentor that clicked with you in the area that you were busy trying to work in? That they had understanding and knowledge of the market, let's say, for example, or was it someone that you could say, hey, I can drink a beer with this guy?
Good question. I think I don't believe, starting out, yes, I'll tell you, I don't believe with it, you should have one mentor. You know, you can have multiple mentors for different reasons. You know, you can have a life mentor, life coach. You can have an industry-specific mentor to understand your industry, and you can have a business mentor in other territories and other industries as well. But coming back to your question, when I was starting out, my mentor was in IT. He owned a chain of internet cafes. You know, but the certain lessons and certain learnings that he went through, which I avoided. You know, he through his journey, I made better decisions. You know, so for me, it's about people who understand more, people who have better context, people who can show you the process in their own way, adapt the same principles and formula, apply that in your own way with your own flavor, and learn from that and roll that out. So you don't have to have an industry-specific mentor, although it is advisable and it does help. But I think always find a mentor who has done something, and find a mentor, yes, because while they'll validate the statements, they'll validate the lessons, because they journey as well. Because a lot of people talk the talk, you know, few can, you know. So for me, find someone who you believe leads by example. In your own way, in your own context. They might not be making as much money as you want to make, but they've got wealth of wisdom and knowledge for you to take you from where you are to the next step.
Great.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, the one with the microphone.
I think I'm the one with the microphone. Okay, hi Vincent. Good. Well, my question is around partnership. How do you choose the right partner? Because we've had so many stories of people partnering with like bad people. And the next thing they lose collateral, they lose their lives, they lose their houses, cars, whatsoever. How do you make sure, like, what do you look for? Do you look like for the perfect business plan? Do you look like for, I don't know, like, how do you choose the perfect partner?
Cool. First of all, thank you for the question. Second of all, I don't think there is a perfect partner.
That's a good point. It's like people looking for a perfect woman to marry, or a perfect man to marry.
Yeah, I'd probably say there's an 80-20% rule in most things. I think in a partnership setup, you look for that, and there's a voice inside of it, and you listen to the voice, and if you feel your values are shared values, then it forms a lot. Not only on a business front, to business level, but is this the type of person that you want to be with the rest of your life, like marriage? Yeah. And if the answer is no, I don't think so. The rest you can figure out, because we learn as we go. We're not taught this journey. We're not taught. We're the first in our generation, in our families. So we learn so much. The business formalities and structure. But there's certain things inherently inside that you feel with you. Is this the right person first before I can partner with? So I'm big on values, and I've made bad calls when I focus on the business more than I made bad calls when I focus on the values. When I ignored the voice inside me, that's when I lost most money and opened Chisanyama and they closed and I was scam money. When I listened to the voice, that's why we're still standing. My business partner, 8-9 years later, is still here sitting right next to me. Because I was listening to each other's voices, the inner voice.
Great. How I know that you say something really wise? My wife agreed with you completely.
Just agree everything. So can look wise. Just say every time. Just
and also that's how to tell if a man is about to say something wise and says, my wife once said.
That's true. Memory created, sharp. Cool.
Hi Vincent, great to hear your story. Thank you very much. I've recently moved to Cape Town from Sydney, Australia. I grew up in Zimbabwe, so I'm African at heart and my roots. And this is the first time I'm living back here in this part of the world for over 30 years. I arrived last week.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
We must first teach you the anthem first, eh? Because 01 was a wrong anthem. Now, now we have moved, comrade.
You're talking about the rugby anthem, it's one of my favorites. Scotland's great and the South African anthem. Listen to every time. My mother's from Cape Town originally, so I'm not a stranger to this part of the world.
Awesome.
I'm a tech entrepreneur. I've been working in the internet for over 20 years. I recall you saying your childhood experience of going to the one house in the neighborhood to watch TV. How does it work today in townships for younger people especially, and how are brands marketing to young people today? I'm thinking the equivalent of brands advertising on that one screen you watched. How does it work today?
It's a beautiful thing. I think obviously technology has forced, shift in many industries and many sectors. I think obviously, as I keep on saying, that the consumer is changing and forever evolving. What was relevant yesterday might not be relevant today or tomorrow. So for instance, what was relevant back then when you used to watch the same one TV screen, not the same, could capture the same people with different consumers, different types of black people, different stages of our lives as well. I think there's an opportunity for the human element, as much as technology has bridged the gap to a degree, but I feel that brands need to take time out and go and engage with communities or where they practice, or who they're selling to. I think brands need to shift away just relying on data to create products or to see products, you know. It's important to have, starting with a dialogue and actually taking time out and going to these townships to explore, to engage, to understand, you know. I think we just come with solutions without fully understanding the context in which you're operating. And I think that's why there's a company like Kanvas, for instance, you know, that's willing to hold brands' hands by the hand and say, let's go and figure it out together, you know, because we don't know everything as well, you know, but we are willing to facilitate the conversation, because I think all solutions, all marketing tactics, all marketing approaches, they're guided or informed by the insights which you and I need to go discover. So yes, it relies on technology, but I think that there needs to be a human element that's built on that technology in order to be more penetrative and have better results in any product that you launch in that market. I'll go ask you.
Thank you. Great, thanks. There's a question here.
I'm all for Khayelitsha. My question is, in order for people to understand what's going on in Khayelitsha, they actually need to go to Khayelitsha, meet people in Khayelitsha, but there's one problem in Khayelitsha. We don't have venues. We don't have proper venues. We have one or two venues. The difference between Khayelitsha and any other township in Joburg is that people from outside townships of Joburg with money can actually go into township and they'll feel safe. Well, South Africa, but they'll still feel safe, you understand? So how can we create venues like Gas Experience in Khayelitsha that are there on a daily basis? You understand? How can we create places like this? You are from Khayelitsha, we are at the waterfront. 90% of us don't stay on, they don't live on waterfront. The environment does not reflect anything. The statistics that they give us in Khayelitsha lacks the human element of it, you understand? So how the guys from Constantia how can they go to Khayelitsha, find venues that they can go there on a normal day, not seeking for a business trip or anything to go there. What my question is just, how can we create these venues? Because the Gas Experience was one of the greatest experience I've ever experienced.
Oh, thanks.
It's experience. Sorry, but that's my question is, if I can refine again, how can we create spaces like this in Khayelitsha? How can, sorry, one thing, you as a DJ, you probably DJ in few venues in Khayelitsha than outside Khayelitsha. How can you create more venues for yourself as a DJ that you can go to on weekend? Do you understand? How can you make business? I don't know. Hope you get my question. I get nervous.
I get it, and it's a good question. It's a good question because, first of all, I commend you for being here. You know, just taking the step of actually being here, because I understand. I was once, I don't know how old you are, 21. Now I'm as hungry, as driven, and passionate, and I understand what it took for me to be sitting there. You know. And I see that. I see myself in you. And for me, it shows that we're all onto something. So I commend you for that. And going back to your question, it's important to create spaces, you know. And I think, as I said, it's a collective effort. You know, that's where we need different moving parts to play together or to work together. That's where we need the community is one. You know, communities need to take responsibility. They need to want these spaces. You know, there needs to be a need that they need. What are they going to do with these spaces? Because I've seen spaces being created and they were underutilized. First of all, so we need to mobilize each other. First of all, you know, and secondly, we need to speak to engage government stakeholders. To say, government stakeholders, we are mobilized, we are united, we've identified these shortcomings, and this is the opportunity that lies. We need corporate South Africa, you know, in different industries to say, I want to lead that conversation in a community like Khayelitsha. You know, I want to be the forefront of making that cool again, or even at all, you know, meaningfully and for the long haul. So I think all these moving parts, you know, they need to come together to create a platform for us to engage and talk further. You know, because we are here sitting in the waterfront, workshop 17, preaching to the converted to a degree. You know, there's nothing new that I want to tell you that you can't Google. You know, besides my life story, even now it's been told, you know, at times. But my point is, the market is not only this only, you know. We need to educate, we need to move startup grind into those spaces. We need to help mentor other people like yourself to champion the rollout of such initiatives in their own township. You know, we need collaboration. You know, so that's why we need to open each other up, open ourselves to engaging, to collaborate, to say, cool, if you identify the need out of this interaction, what are you going to do about that now? Because most of the businesses and things that I've started are from my need, seeing that I have a need, and government is not going to wake up and knock at my doorstep and respond to the need and create a solution for me. You know, it's saying, yo, Vincent from Khayelitsha, Chief, you saw the rigor of responsibility. What can you do, Chief? Sandras, how can you take that grind? The finale must be Khayelitsha. How does that look like? You know, so in any challenge or situation, there's a need. That's why we've got Lloyd sessions, Look Better talks now with Lois, and we've been doing this for the past 2-3 years because he stood up and he said, there's a conversation that we as black professionals and young professionals in the South African context are not having, or in the Cape Town context are not having. But there's a gap because people are stuck. They want to know what's the next big step in their careers, what's the next big move, how do they start out? And Luis started the conversation, and 2 years later we're national, and we're having these conversations in other territories around the country because he saw the need of like-minded people engaging in spaces which they would never engage before. So you and I have a job to do, and they say then move and they'll find along the way sometimes, leave them behind.
Fantastic, thank you. We're going to take the last question and then we can continue the conversation. Oh, the 2 questions. Okay, the last two.
Okay.
Then we'll continue the conversation afterwards.
Vincent?
Which side?
Vincent, look, thanks, man. I'm very impressed. Look, I'm seeing you for the very first time in my life.
Thanks, man.
I happen to have been going through my Facebook yesterday, and I saw you, and I thought, look, let me just come around and get to hear you.
Appreciate it.
Right? As I'm saying, I'm very impressed.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Look, I want us to, I mean, it's a question, you know, I want you, and I know that, look, as a township boy, you would know this thing, you know, as to why in the township we are not having such a vast breakthroughs of young people. Look, I'll tell you this thing very bravely.
Yeah.
You are not an exception. You know, you're not too smart than a boy on the other street, right? But I want you to give us an insight as to say, I mean, why we're not making a breakthrough the way that you're doing, right? Of course, the second part, which I really enjoy that you've said, you know, if I try to paraphrase it, it's about, you know, finding the divide. It is so important, you know, that a boy and a girl in Claremont, you know, gets to understand me in the township. And we might just have a beautiful relationship in addressing, right, the challenges that we have. And I think, you know, and I think, you know, these kind of spaces will, you know, assist us or could assist us in making sure that we address the issues, for example, of unemployment. Because you need these kind of minds and you need these kind of souls and you need someone like you. You know, I mean, look, as I listen to you right now, as an entrepreneur, for example, it encourages me to realize that your journey is a universal journey because that's what Richard Branson went through. That's what Kanye West went through. So it's always nice to listen to people, you know, making it, not making it, you know, rising and falling, rising and falling. So it's always good to know that this thing is natural, you know, because I am stressed now because I've lost, I don't know, 50,000 rand. But you being here, sharing your journey, it just simply means that I can always, you know, rise up again. Yeah, thanks.
I've got a pretty good question. Thank you. Cool. Thank you for the question. It's quite as I said and keep on saying earlier on, there's nothing special about Vincent or even Climate Loyiso right here. And we understand that and we identify with that. You know, and I said there are many Vincents out there, but they don't have a voice. You know, they don't have hope. They don't know what's the next step. You know, and as I said before, and I keep on saying it, that we are a first in our families. You know, when I left Vodacom to say, Mama, I want to be a DJ, I'm sure she threw a shoe at me at some point. You know, because it's foreign. You know, but because I was determined, and because I saw people around me that were making certain moves, it showed me that I'm not insane. You know, that's why it's the road less traveled. It's not for everyone if you're not willing to fail, or you're not willing to pick yourself up when you do. It's to show the youth that it takes long. It's hard. But if you are true to yourself and true to the reasons why and the need as to why you're doing what you're doing, it pays off. You know? So for me, I don't want to teach or showcase maybe myself as being well achieved or being different to the next guy, but I was a person who understand that everything that I do must address a need, because everything that I do is bigger than me. You know, I'm about creating businesses and solutions which will outlive me. I'll die tomorrow, but the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing, even when I do die, I've left a legacy in my own way. You know, and that drives me. You know, because this is bigger than most of us. You know, the money part obviously is good because we survive, but it's a way of thinking. It's a psychology. It's unlocking change. It's been changed as a society, and it's a black society at it. So it's our responsibility to know more. And when you know more, we need to act like we know more. And through those actions and interactions and those meaningful conversations, that's when it begins to unlock doors in the way of thinking, in the way of doing things as youth, as black youth, as youth of South Africa. That's when you collaborate, because we are willing to be vulnerable to each other. Be it from Khayelitsha, be it from Constantia, but to understand that this is universal, as you say, and it's bigger than most of us. That's what keeps me going.
Great. We're gonna have the last question. It has to be brief, and then the answer will be brief because we are over time, and then we'll continue the conversation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I'll be very brief. Vincent,
sure.
Thank you for sharing your story. The question is, townships are currently or largely perceived as very unsafe places to do business, particularly by the investors. So my question is, how did you work around those perceptions?
I think crime is everywhere. You know, crime, we've seen it. Kanye West, what Kim Kardashian, yes. They broke into a hotel room in Paris. You know, and I've never seen my mother losing a ring in Khayelitsha. they've never broken into our house, but coming back to business, yes, it's crime is everywhere. That's reality, and there's a perception, and a negative perception at it. You know, I think the reason that people perceive that doing business in those spaces or in townships is because most of them, those insights and that understanding is built on assumptions. You know, you run the risk of robberies anyway. You know, but I'm saying that if you're not willing to take yourself out of your comfortable context or your context in order to go into those spaces, you can't find creative ways of dealing with those challenges, be it robberies, be it crime. But if you're willing to understand how the context operates, then you can find ways of doing business in that context. And also, it's important to have relationships in any township that you operate in. You know, if you're a DJ and your neighbor doesn't know that you're a DJ, then you're doing something wrong. Because also, you must start next door, because also in when I know with the township now, if your business addresses a need, a societal need, people protect it. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but they'll stone you, and I hate it, and I don't like it. I'm against crime, but they'll do it to protect it. Because this thing, we need this water. You can't mess this water. We're 5 liters, so we protect this reservoir of ours. You know. So the point is, you need to make sure you've got meaningful relationships, and people are aware what is the servicing, how does it benefit the community. And if you tick those boxes, you know, you will survive long in any township. Okay. They feel they need to own it. Yet, going back to Ubuntu, let's not lose Ubuntu in anything we do.
Great. Thank you very much.